Well, welcome to the final day of our daily reflections on the unforgettable touch of grace. And today we're going to be looking at living in grace. Hebrews 4:16 says this. It says, "Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need." Grace is not just something we receive when we first come to Jesus. It's something that we live in daily. And many of us accept God's grace for salvation, but then struggle to live confidently in it. Hebrews 4:16 tells us that because of grace, we can approach God with confidence, not hesitation. We don't have to shrink back in fear or doubt our place in His presence. His grace assures us that we belong. And when we truly understand grace, we stop trying to earn God's love. We walk in the boldness of already having it. So what does living in grace look like? Knowing you are forgiven, not condemned. Walking in confidence, not shame. Trusting in God's strength, not your own. And approaching Him freely, not with fear. Too often we live as if God is disappointed in us, holding back His love until we get it right. But grace says otherwise. Grace says, "Come as you are. You are mine. You are loved." Imagine if a child hesitated to come to their loving parent because they weren't perfect. A good parent would never push them away. They would embrace them. And that's what God does with us. I remember a time when I felt like I couldn't approach God because I had messed up too much. I thought I needed to fix myself before coming to Him. But then He reminded me, grace is not about my ability to be perfect, but it's about His love covering me completely. When we finally let go of our fear and come to Him with experience, and we experience a freedom we have never known, grace doesn't push us away, it pulls us in. So just take a moment to reflect. What would it look like if you were to live fully in grace today? Are you approaching God with confidence, or do you hold back because of guilt and fear? What would change if you truly believed that you are deeply loved and accepted by Him? So Lord, thank you that we don't have to earn your love. We have it already. Help us to walk in the confidence of your grace today. And remove any fear or hesitation in our hearts and remind us that we belong to you. Let our lives be a reflection of the grace we've received. Amen. So grace is not just a one-time gift, it's the foundation of how we live every day. So walk boldly, knowing that you are loved, accepted, and held in the hands of a gracious Father. I just want to thank you for joining me this week as we've gone through the Unforgettable Touch of Grace devotions. And if these devotions have encouraged you, then share it with someone who needs to be reminded of God's grace today. So until tomorrow, walk in grace and confidence.